Assalamu alaikum, dear students. I am your social studies teacher from Pakistan International School for e-learning program. Now we are in the fourth week of the distance learning program, and this is the second lecture of unit number 1. Dear students, the topic of today's lecture is the moon and its phases. You have to complete a given worksheet, so be attentive throughout the video lecture. The learning objectives of today's lecture are that you will be able to understand the term moon and phases of the moon. You will be able to draw the diagram of phases of the moon and complete your worksheet properly. Before proceeding to the main topic, you must know about what is the moon. Moon is the Earth's only natural satellite. The moon does not have any light of its own but reflects the light of the sun. The moon takes 28 days to revolve around the Earth.
Students, have you ever seen the moon on the clear night sky? If you observe the moon, you have seen that it doesn't look the same in all nights. In some nights the moon is big and round. On other nights it has a thin slice shaped. Have you ever thought why the moon looks different every night? The phases of the moon are the different ways the moon looks from Earth over about a month. As the moon orbits around the Earth, the half of the moon that faces the sun will be lit up. The different shapes of the lit portion of the moon that can be seen from Earth are known as phases of the moon.
Here I am going to explain about the phases of the moon. When the moon is between the Earth and the sun day, we cannot see the moon at all. This is because the side of the moon facing the Earth does not get sunlight. This is called the new moon. After 2-3 days we can see some parts of the moon. This phase is called the waxing crescent. Here I must explain to you the term waxing. As the moon is gaining light, that is expanding in illumination, we use the term waxing.
About a week after new moon, we can see half of the moon. This phase is called the first quarter. 2 or 3 days after the first quarter, more than half of the moon is visible. This phase is called the waxing gibbous. About 2 weeks after the new moon, we see the full moon. This is because the full side of the moon facing the Earth gets sunlight. Now the moon begins its return journey from the full moon to the new moon. The next phase is called the waning gibbous. Here I explain to you the term waning. As the moon is now losing light, that is decreasing in illumination, we use the term waning.
The next phase is the last quarter. The last quarter moon or a half moon is when of the lit portion of the moon is visible. The next phase is waning crescent, when the moon looks like the crescent and the crescent decreases in size from one day to the next. When the moon comes back between the Earth and the sun, it enters the new moon phase again. The number of days between two new moon is 29 days. These changing shapes of the moon are called phases of the moon. Here this diagram shows a complete cycle of phases of the moon. Here hyperlink of the video is been sharing for more understanding of the topic.
Now coming to the most important part of today's session is your homework. Please go through the video lecture once again. Read page numbers 4 and 5 thoroughly. Complete the given worksheet properly. You can write answers of given question in your notebooks. Draw and label the diagram of phases of the moon neatly. Dear students, if you have any confusion, feel free to ask your subject teacher for more clarity. Inshallah, next week we will continue the same unit, but with a different topic. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.